Kevin, there were times in the last 4 years, particularly the last year and a half, where I didn't know if this podcast would ever come. I didn't think we'd jump on a podcast and Roman Reigns would not be the undisputed, universal, big gold, tribal chief, hot mustard champion. Kevin, there were days I didn't think it would ever happen, but today I sit here. It's Saturday, April 13th for me. It's Friday, April 12th for you. Cody Rhodes is the champion. Roman has been dethroned. It all happened in the main event, a gripping main event of WrestleMania 40, night 2. We covered all things night 1 on our show right after night 1. We had some queries, we had some questions, but a lot of it got resolved, and we'll get to that shortly. Kevin, I was going to bask in the glory, pal. I'm like 2020 Keith Lee before he went to AEW and got ruined by Tony Khan. I'm basking in the glory of Paul Levesque, pal. For I am limitless. The fan base is limitless. Cody Rhodes is the champion. It's a new era. The Triple H.
Cut the music, pal. Cut the music. Cut the music. Cut the music. Pal. You're just happy that Roman lost. Like, you're not even a real Cody fan. Like, a year and 2 months ago, you were screaming at me about Roman Reigns, and you were the biggest Roman Reigns fanboy ever. You're just happy that Roman lost. You're not a real Cody fan. Like, come on. You're not fooling anybody with this shtick.
Excuse me? Pal, that main event was one of the great main events in the history of WrestleMania. That had everything. It was a masterpiece, and we'll discuss it a bit more in the next, little bit.
All right, that has nothing to do with you being with you not being a real Cody fan. Yeah,
I'm getting there, pal.
You're like a politician, pal. You're a politician.
You're cutting me off with slander, pal. On the great main events, watching my boy Cody Rhodes get the win over Roman Reigns, the tribal fraud, the start of the new chapter, pal. The end of the Bloodline saga for now. Kevin, I'm a Cody Rhodes diehard fan. I've been beating that drum since day one. So when he came back, pal, and he tore his titty, and then he went into Hell in a Cell, and Seth freaking Rollins was putting a kendo stick on Cody's wounded breast. I was there cheering, Cody, Cody. And now, what's my reward, pal? My reward is you on a podcast saying I'm not a real fan. Ridiculous. This is the era of Cody Rhodes. That was on the great main event.
No, this is the Paul Levesque era, pal.
Sorry. Pardon me, pal. They're calling it that so Superkick Studios doesn't get the luxury of naming a whole era. Superkick called it the Renaissance era in one of his videos, but WWE hates Superkick Studios, keeps claiming his videos, doesn't want him to really label the era, so now they call it the Paul Levesque era, I guess. Anyway, leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, look. I knew that the moment would be sweeter when Cody won at WrestleMania 40. If he would have won at WrestleMania 39, the reactions would not have been that sweet. There's more money in the chase. Look, I said this. There's more money in the chase. Cody set a merchandise revenue record over WrestleMania weekend by a single wrestler. That's literally the money in the chase.
Do you apologize for saying Jey Uso was going to turn on Cody and have Roman Reigns win and stand tall? Do you apologize saying Seth Rollins was going to turn and have Roman stand tall? Do you apologize for what you said?
No. I was being an analyst. I was speculating.
I was being an analyst. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, you were trying to be... You were trying to go against the narrative. I was beating the drum of that Cody must win. This is Cody's moment. He was robbed last year. And we had Roman Reigns, as we discussed, as we went over in depth every week, sit at home and do nothing for the best part of the year, be in matches like the Royal Rumble Fatal 4-Way you were there for, where the aura was gone, matches like the match against LA Knight, which was bleedingly obvious, so predictable. Roman lost his aura in the last year, but at least he's lost the belt now. That's the main thing. Yes, that's the chase. I agree, pal. Did it feel sweeter? Probably a little bit.
A lot.
But it took a year of Roman sitting at home, not coming to work. It took more growing frustration. I guess, sure. Maybe that's the genius. That's the masterpiece.
That's what makes a heel. You want to see him lose.
He didn't show up. I didn't want. I couldn't even physically see him. That was a bit different though. Like the part I physically didn't see Roman Reigns until like March. Like,
Right. Okay. So let's break down the match analytically here for a moment. And just to give a quick rundown for the people, what else we're going to talk about? We're gonna spend the first half of this podcast praising WrestleMania 40, Night 2 in particular. We'll talk the Raw after Mania. We'll talk Paul Heyman's induction speech. And then we're gonna spend the rest of the show dunking on AEW, pal. I hope you got your hooping shoes, pal.
Pal, I got my Greek freaks on. Yeah, I'm just gonna cook, and you, pal. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, Tony Khan, the Young Bucks.
Can't wait.
You've been dunking on them more than anyone I've seen in the community for a long time, and you're going to go in. So we'll get to that. That's to look forward to. But let's just discuss this main event. I described it as like a masterpiece, incredible.
Yes.
Let's just go into it. So last time we were with you, pal, and last time we were with our listeners, we'd seen The Rock and Roman Reigns win a 46-minute tag team match. They're holding their championships. Cody's in the rings, crying again. Oh, I lost to Samoa again. We get to night 2. Bunch of the show happens. We'll get to that later. The stakes are set, pal. Cody comes out. He's got the big, like the skull special entrance. It was basically Triple H's WrestleMania 30 entrance, only with Cody's music and Cody's attire. It was literally Triple H's WrestleMania 30 entrance for Cody.
Go ahead.
Pretty cool. So Cody came out. We had a Brandy sighting, pal. So we had Brandy there. I didn't see QT Marshall. I didn't see Pharaoh yet at that stage. But that was an awesome entrance.
Yes.
Cody's entrance was like, he came out. I'm like, he is winning this championship. I'm not accepting anything else. Roman Reigns came out. His entrance was sick as well. Like in any other year, I'd say that's the best entrance, but it was unbelievable. I think it was Roman's best entrance I've seen. Like that was so well done. It gave him a little bit of aura that he's lost in the past year and a half. So,
oh my God.
What?
The slander on Roman Reigns is crazy.
Well, it's called coming to work. Hello. Anyway, whatever. So they make the entrances. They're in the ring. They do the face off. You're thinking, oh my God, this is the main event.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question about this coming to work thing. If you're on like two ends of the spectrum, right? Would you rather be Roman Reigns, who comes to work 5-6 times a year and gets all the aura, all the praise, is this big deal when he shows up, or would you rather be the Miz, who clocks in on time every single day?
Hold on. We're not bringing the Miz into this, Kevin.
What?
We're not bringing up the 65-year-old manager at Google who gets all the promotions. I'm not bringing him up. Hold on.
Yeah. Wait, which side would you rather be? You know, I mean, I would not want to see the Miz at WrestleMania. I'll pay to see Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, though. So Cody's the Miz now? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you slander Roman Reigns for not coming to work. Right? It could be the Miz out there as a WWE champion. The guy that comes to work every single week, is on time, never late, always does business, pal. Leaves his kids at home unattended to be at work, pal.
Anyway, so Roman Reigns I'm not even going to respond to that. Roman Reigns comes out.
For the record, the Miz does not leave his kids unattended. I just wanted to throw that out there.
That took an absolute detour, pal. Anyway, Roman Reigns and Cody, they're facing off. They have the big stand. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Like, I was like, this has like the feel. This is the main event. Finally, a year of rants, a year of me saying, no, Cody should win. It all leads to this. A year of you saying, no, see where it goes. Money's in the chase. It's all good.
And I was right.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, you won't.
I was objectively right. I mean, Triple H will agree that I'm right when he's cashing those sweet Cody merchandise checks.
Oh, my God.
Nick Khan, when he's writing more merch checks, pal, he's paying out those big royalty checks to Cody, and he's stuffing his pockets with that sweet Cody merch money. They would both agree when they watch this at 2 a.m. When Nick Khan and Paul Levesque watch this podcast and listen to us talking about the Renaissance era, when they get to this point at the 9-minute and 21-second mark, they're going to be like, I agree with that Kevin guy. The guy wearing the CM Punk shirt. All right?
As I was saying, so bell rings, and there's a few different stages to this match. The first part of it, bit of in-ring stuff. They go into the crowd, into the audience for a little bit. They do like the spot on the thingo, like in the crowd. This bit felt like to me the early stages of Austin Rock from 17 when they ventured to ringside and really being physical around the ringside area. That was cool. Match rolls on. Most of you have seen the match by now. We're not doing a move-by-move JD from NY review, but what we will do is say this. Kevin, do you want to just cut to where the match really goes up like another 6 gears when everything started breaking down? Do you just want to cut to that, pal? Because they're wrestling. Then the chaos begins, pal. There's a bit of referee drama, whatever. Jimmy Uso gets involved. Kevin, when Jimmy Uso started getting involved, what were your honest opinions, pal?
Well, so at one point, honestly, the whole time, like at that, then especially at that point when Jimmy Uso came out, I was waiting for the Jacob Fatu, the newly signed Jacob Fatu, to make an appearance. Like, that was what was creeping in the back of my mind. I had managed to convince myself that Roman was going to win. Like,
wow.
I was just like, I was just thinking, okay, WWE is gonna book Cody Rhodes like he's 2005 Shawn Michaels. Just have him be like the big baby face that never wins the title, just always doing cool stuff. So I was just waiting for that. Like, honestly, when Jimmy Uso came out, I was like, okay, like, Jimmy Uso's here. Jey Uso's obviously coming next. Like, that was like we called it. You know, Jimmy and Jay be coming out in hoodies, and Michael Cole would be like, oh my God, it's the Usos. We haven't seen them since last night. Oh my God.
Literally. Yeah, so Jimmy Uso's there. He's beating up Cody, pal, and I'm just like, oh yeah. Oh, here we go again. Oh yeah.
Yeah, more interference.
Like, oh, here we go. It's been 3.5 years of this. I'm over this. F you, Jimmy Uso. I hate you. All this. And then Jey Uso comes out. And then I'm like, yeah. Unlike the night before when they had one of the worst matches in the last 5 years of WrestleMania. Nonetheless, Jey Uso runs down. They're brawling. They're punching. Jey versus Jimmy. Oh my God. Jey spears Jimmy off the stage through a table. What were your thoughts at that stage?
Incredible.
Were you still thinking Roman's going to win, Jacob Fatu, Roman's going to win, Jacob Fatu?
Yes.
Is that what you were thinking?
I was thinking that. I was thinking, like, I was thinking all this chaos is going to happen. And then it's just going to be like, oh, Jacob Fatu's here, thumb to the eye. Yeah. Roman wins. Like, I was waiting until the end. I was waiting to see Cody holding the championship before I believed it. You know, so kind of take you through. I'll be honest. I gotta be honest here too. I was so tired, and I was like, I had to get up for work. You know, I got to get up for work at 4 a.m. on Monday. So I'm like trying to finish watching this match. This is my recollection of the match. So the entrances, we get the big introduction. You know, Samantha Irvin's there doing her thing. Cody and Roman are staring at the camera, growling and barking, and get the stare down. Probably about 8 minutes in, when Roman's doing headlocks and he's yelling at the Philadelphia crowd. He's like, "This your boy." I think that's what he was saying. I don't remember exactly what he was saying, but "This your boy. This your boy." Yeah. I fell asleep. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Kevin fell asleep during the greatest WrestleMania main event we've seen in 20 years.
Hold on. I did go back and rewatch it the next day, but I fell asleep. Right? Hold on. I wake up at the best time. I wake up and John Cena is running down to the ring.
Okay.
Like, that's literally when I wake up. Like, John Cena's theme music hits and I'm like, hustle, loyalty, respects to nation. And I just like got up like a zombie. And man, that sequence was so cool. Like, honestly, I saw what I needed to see live. Yep. You know, I could live like the Uso spot was cool. You know, I saw just the meat and potatoes, the main course, the main part of the match. Yep. So I wake up, Cena's running down to the ring trying to hide his bald spot. We get the epic stare down with Cena and The Rock, which was absolutely just amazing and a great callback and goosebumps as The Rock does. And then The Rock, what if I remember correctly?
Yeah, I'm doing the play-by-play. Do you want me to just continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously, so Jimmy spears Jey off the stage, and you're thinking, okay, now Roman and Cody are back in the ring. Cool. They can finish their match. Well, here comes Sikoa, who hasn't won a match in like 6 months. Sikoa's in the ring, punching Cody, spiking Cody over and over. They do like a near fall, whatever. You're thinking, what am I watching here? Just get someone else out here. What are they going to do? Who's it going to be? Who's going to come out? Is it going to be Fatu, pal? What are they going to do? As you say, the bit that woke you up, dude, apple juice, do. He was naked at the Oscars 3 weeks ago. Now he's out here. He's sprinting down to the ring like he's Usain Bolt at the 2012 Olympics. down the 80-foot aisleway, dives into the ring. He's hitting his like Hollywood punches on Sikoa so he doesn't hurt his shoulder. Cena, he does his punches. He does that clothesline that Sikoa literally turned around and jumped out of the ring to the clothesline. That was great. This is glorious, pal. Dumps him through the table. And then, as you say, Cena's in the ring. He's saved the day. And then the final boss comes out, pal.
Oh, that was incredible. Yeah, so that's what it was. Cena came out first and then The Rock. And, yeah, so The Rock's walking down to the ring. And I'm just like, this is awesome. Like, this is the best thing. This is the best moment to wake up for. Like, this is great. So, what ensued here was absolute cinema. This was one of the best endings that I've seen for a WrestleMania match. I don't want to say ever, but it was damn close. We get the Cena Rock stare down. Rock takes care of Cena. Boom, the Shield music hits. Rock is like, he's doing a typical wrestler thing. Oh my God, music. Oh my God, yeah. There's music. Now I can't focus on what I'm doing. I can't beat up anybody. There's music. So I like everybody else was thinking Dean Ambrose for whatever reason was gonna show up. Like I was just like, wait, did they pay Tony Khan like here's $1 million here help pay Mercedes Moné her ridiculous salary and let us borrow Dean Ambrose for one night. Like I mean that would be cool as hell. But no, so Rollins comes out, just more storytelling, and Roman spears him. I was hoping we get a little Rock and Rollins interaction, but. Yeah, Roman spears Rollins. And then, yeah, the storytelling here was just absolutely incredible after what transpired from this moment. Which in the end, it leads to... okay, let me not skip this part. The Undertaker.
I was going to say, one of the three greatest wrestlers ever.
Yeah.
The guy who's 25-2 at WrestleMania just, like, made a shocking OMFing appearance. So, as you're alluding to, Rock's facing off as Cena. I'm getting like insane 2012. This is like the greatest flashback ever. The greatest callback I've ever seen in wrestling, pal. Rock and Cena. My Instagram reels, pal, for the last week have been flooded with on the top, it's the WrestleMania 28 stare down. Below is WrestleMania 41 with Cena and The Rock. He got, I'm invincible. By MGK playing. Unbelievable. Rock and Cena. They start fighting. Rock bottoms him. So the final boss is there, pal. OMG. They do the Rollins thing, as you said. Just gets taken out by Roman Reigns. Does Seth Rollins with the Shield vest. And then so you're seeing there, okay, The Rock's going to whip Cody. The Rock's yelling, Mama Rhodes! That is, I think, going to be like what the main things I remember about this. The Mama Rhodes thing is hilarious. This is a 54-year-old A++ list celebrity. Kevin, everyone knows The Rock.
Yes.
People I talk to who know nothing about entertainment, sports, wrestling, any of it, movies, they know The Rock. Everyone knows The Rock. This is one of the biggest, most famous people in the world, along with Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, a couple of the other biggest celebrities in the world. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He's 54. He's done years of action movies, wrestling, you name it. The Rock's done it. He's in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania, half naked with a weight belt, yelling, pointing at Cody Rhodes' mother. Mama Rhodes! That's your boy, Mama Rhodes! I'm going to beat him up. I'm just like, this is incredible. So The Rock's about to whip Cody. Gong. Oh my God. Everyone's like, ah. Everyone's freaking out. Yes, was this supposed to be Steve Austin? Yes. Was Steve Austin sitting on a ranch with his cat? Yes. This is still The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, one of the greatest three wrestlers ever. No one's complaining. So Undertaker does the snake eyes. The Rock, he turns around. The classic, theatrical wrestling. Rock's like, what's going on? He turns around and his eyes pop out of his head. And The Undertaker's like, I'm going to kill you. And then Mark Calloway choke slams the final boss, The Rock. And then lights go out and then we're back. Roman and Cody are just there. After all this theatrics, Pal, talk to us.
Oh, this is when I got the goosebumps, baby. The Undertaker coming out was it was great. It was just it did feel like, I don't want to say out of place, but that was the only point that was kind of like, okay, this is great. And then it was like, this is really good, Like Steve Austin being there would have been like, whoa. Like we would have got the John Cena Rock stare down. then The Rock and Austin stare down. I mean, that would have been like an all-timer. Right? It sucks that Austin didn't want to do it or whatever. They couldn't reach an agreement. That it sucks. But Undertaker, not a bad replacement, pal. Or not a bad replacement for Steve Austin, which was great. We ended up getting the great moment that you spoke about, the eyes popping out.
Which before you go, and it being the Undertaker does work. I mean, the Undertaker was the locker room leader for like 25 years. He's the one who, in terms of like the talents and what have you, he's like the final boss of talent. He was the judge jury in Wrestler's Court. It makes sense, the Undertaker being like, who the F do you think you are? And like this 7 foot tall, lean, mean Mark with the snake eyes, and The Rock's like, The Rock just like craps himself and sees him and gets chokeslammed. So that was glorious. Carry on, Kevin.
So at this point is when I was like, all right, here comes Fatu, pal. Like, this is when I was like, all right, here, Jacob Fatu. We get the 1, 2, 3 from Roman. The whole world just sets on fire. Like, that would have been, I mean, that would have been crazy if that would have happened, bro. Like, I think people would have been throwing garbage in the ring if that would have been the ending. But I don't know why I convinced myself. I was just like, yeah, this is it. And then Fatu is gonna be there. And then the Rock's gonna be like, yeah, you're with me, Fatu. I'm the tribal chief. And like he kicks Roman out of the bloodline. Like, that's what I thought was gonna happen. And I was pleasantly surprised to see what did transpire, which was the magical storytelling, long-term storytelling, and I say that seriously. Because what WWE's been doing in terms of like showing that Roman Reigns' one true weakness is the Shield, and is that chair shot, is the backstab moment from Seth Rollins. I mean, isn't that, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that how Roman Roman got distracted once before, and he was like, he got disqualified, if I remember correctly, at the Royal Rumble in 2022. Like, correct. Rollins got in his head, knocking on the locker room door, and the Shield theme, and then coming out in the Shield gear for the match, and Roman's like, I gotta hit him with the chair. Same thing here. Rollins comes in, sacrifices himself. Like, Roman could go for the kill on Cody, hit him right between the eyes with the chair, and instead he hits Rollins to get him back for that fateful moment when the Shield broke up. And then what ensues there is the triple crossroads, the big 1, 2, 3, and that's it, pal. The story is finished. Wow. I mean, look, I'm gonna let you go in a moment, but I gotta say this. About Cody. I was about to say this about Cody. I don't know, the perception, at least, from Cody. I don't know if there's ever been a big star in WWE that's as universally loved as Cody Rhodes is. Seemingly, from the outside looking in. Who knows? Maybe we'll hear shoot interviews in 20 years where Ricochet's like, Cody was an asshole, bro. Cody was the worst guy in the locker room. But the way this came off, like with Samantha Irvin getting legitimately emotional, so emotional she couldn't even announce Cody as the winner properly.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen anything like that, where the announcer physically can't say anything because they're so overcome with emotion when somebody wins a championship. I mean, Rollins was crying. Some people are speculating that he's retiring. That's why he was crying. That was his last WrestleMania. I've seen that. I don't know. Rumor is his contract's up in a couple of months. Yeah. So, there was Rollins crying. LA Knight, Punk, Randy Orton, like, everybody's coming out. We get this big celebration. Bruce Pritchard comes out. Triple H comes out. And I mean, the guy, Cody Rhodes, he seems like the guy that goes to work and has a relationship with every cameraman, every person, everybody that's on the ring crew, everybody backstage. Like, it seems like he goes to the cameraman. He's like, "What's up, Bill? How's your kid? How's your dog?" And they talk about like sports for 10 minutes, and he's like, "All right, I gotta get out of here, bro." Like, he just seems like the nicest dude ever for a top star.
And further to that, before you go on, I don't know if you saw this. There was like something on Facebook and on all the YouTubes and all that. It was like a CM Punk thing. It was like a 2-minute clip. Punk was in the makeup room. Cody had bought all the makeup people, like people working makeup and all that business, like a vase of like flowers, but it was made of fruit. So it was like a fruit,
fruit basket,
like a assortment, so that they could like eat that. And I saw that, and that is exactly what you're saying. That's just like the makeup team. They're probably going to work each day. They know the wrestlers, know wrestlers. Cody's goes above and beyond. That's what Cody does. And that's why, as we'll get to it more later, but carry on.
Yeah, I mean that ending, it just came off like he's the coolest, nicest top guy I think that ever. Like I don't know, it doesn't. I can't remember a celebration like that for anybody else, man.
Yeah.
You know, him calling out Bruce Pritchard, I immediately cracked up. I was just like, that's Vince's guy, bro. Like that's Vince McMahon. That's like the one guy from the Vince McMahon era is out here. Like I was not expecting that at all. Yeah, we did get the moment with him and his wife celebrating. You know, and his kid, and man, it was just it was really emotional. And that's pro wrestling at its best, you know. This match was phenomenal. I have to give it to WWE. And we said this, night 2 would be better than night 1.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I have to say this. I said I left a cliffhanger in our night 1 review. I said we have to let this see what happens until after night 2. And I said, will the Cody's win be watered down by all the chaos? And no, it wasn't. All the chaos with The Rock and the tag team, and I have to come out here and I got to say some things here, pal. I'm not gonna walk back any of the comments I made about the involvement with The Rock. At the end of the day, it was just like, okay, I want to face Roman. Oh wait, the crowd hates this. Okay, hold on, we're gonna figure something out. And they accomplished what they could have accomplished anyway. Like night 1, I still feel like was essentially pointless. You know, it didn't really serve a purpose. They could have shaved a couple of matches and just had like Gunther and Sammy and like 2 other matches from that night and had WrestleMania on Sunday and just be like a great 4.5, 5 hour show, you know? So, but overall, I get what they did here now. It makes sense now. Like, you know, because I was convinced that Roman was going to win. So I was not really thinking like this. They brought The Rock in to carry the build, to get more hype for it, to get everybody watching, so more people would be watching Cody's win. You know, that was the purpose of The Rock being involved here. And it worked out, whatever. The tag team match went too long, was a little goofy. I don't think night 1 was a good night of WrestleMania. I like I said, 6 out of 10. But at the end of the day, Cody got his big win. And it was just bigger because The Rock was there and The Rock helped carry the build. And I do think that's gonna set up nicely whenever they do Rock and Roman. Now Rock can say, "Hey, look, bro, I carried the build. Look at that. I carried you, bro. You were my bitch."
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I beat Cody, you couldn't beat Cody.
Yeah.
Like who are you? Like, I'm 54, I'm better than you. Without you, no one would have cared about that match. Like, hello? You know, and they can do all that stuff. I want to just double down on what you've said. You covered that really well. Obviously, that was just a official coronation, crowning moment. It was so well done from the people who are out there. And I'm sitting there watching this, and it's so like big. It's so grand. This is WrestleMania 40. CM Punk's out there. Randy Orton's out there. LA Knight, Sami Zayn, Owens. Rollins is like hobbling, holding his ribs, selling all the pain he's been through in the Shield gear. Everything. Triple H came out. Bruce Pritchard, Brandy, Mama Rhodes. It was a who's who of like the good guys. The Avengers, pal. They took down evil Thanos, Roman Reigns. Like, it was so well done. It was just so great. Was it the best? I don't know how it ranks as far as in the dust will settle more in coming weeks and months, and in years we can more so rank it a bit more easily. But considering Cody is now like the face, he's the Cena now. And I hope with Triple H running the show and the audience they have now, i.e. not the 2015 audience who turns on anyone after 2 months, I hope the audience will enjoy Cody for as long as the run goes for. It's not just going to be a thing where within 6 weeks, I'm bored, boo, I want someone new. Like, those fans, I think, are mostly with AEW or stop watching. I like to assume. Or they're thinking, Triple H runs the show, I'm going to be a bit more open-minded. I'm not just going to hate it right away within 6 weeks and cheer for someone else. Because that's what the audience was like. I've seen comments being like, y'all better not turn on Cody. Y'all better not turn on Cody. It's like, well, look who's running the show. Look at the overall vibe around the show, the vibe around Cody. You touch on it. This is someone who's just unanimously liked now. And that's just is what it is. That's very rare. And especially in 2024, everyone has to try and say something negative to get clicks. Everyone has to have tall poppy syndrome and bring down the person who's succeeding. everyone, it's the cool thing to say negative things. That can all be true, but in the same breath, Cody's the guy, and that should be universally acknowledged now. So, yeah, what a relief. To me, pal, it's a breath of fresh air. The era of Roman, you're at the Royal Rumble, it got stale. The vibe wasn't the same as it was in 2021. They beautifully planted the seeds of Seth Rollins. It's clear, Kevin, when Roman Reigns came back in August 2020 and he sat on that couch with Paul Heyman, and it was like, oh my God, Reigns and Heyman are together. It's clear they wrote the ending of the Bloodline story with the run as Seth Rollins gets hit in the back of the chair wearing Shield gear. It's clear that was the ending. And it's clear they wrote Royal Rumble 2022 or something in there to really set that up. And that was in stone. We saw that play out. The stuff with The Rock, as you touch on, that was all political chess, swerving. They end up getting to the destination, but it's essentially like if The Rock wasn't involved, it would have been a much more easy, straight, narrow road. Dwayne Johnson gets involved. It's all over the place. Entertaining. What the F's this? What the hell? WrestleMania Night 1 main event, 46 minutes. What the hell? Destination. That's what we end up getting.
Yep.
And we're all here for the ride, pal. It's what we do. It's the WWE storybook, pal. When one story finishes, another begins. So, yeah, Cody's the guy. What a moment.
Can I say this real quick? I got to say that Night 1 WrestleMania main event, as messy as it was a hell of a lot better than a forced agenda match. And I'm not even going to go into specifics on that, but just a forced agenda match that like we've seen at WrestleManias in years past. So, hey, I like organic, fun matches.
When you have wrestlers coming out of helicopters at 12:07 a.m., like...
Yeah, I know.
Oh, pal, Roman Brock 6, pal.
Pal, it's Ric Flair's daughter, bro. She's famous. She's Ric Flair's daughter. Okay.
Pal, it's The Undertaker who can't even walk 10 meters backstage wearing a hip bandage, pal.
Don't remind me.
Let's watch him versus Roman, 25 minutes with Big Dog.
Oh, that match started after midnight in Orlando, Florida in 105-degree weather. Don't remind me. Please. All right, pal. So
I was gonna say
I'll let you go. I want to say this. I'm really excited to dunk on AEW. I can't wait. I can't wait to get to that.
Yeah. I just want to say one other thing. Now, when we look at it, WrestleMania 10 ended with Bret Hart, having his big coronation moment.
Yes.
WrestleMania 20 ended with, it was Benoit and Eddie.
Right.
Had their little moment at the end. 30 was Daniel Bryan. 40 was Cody. I'm not going to make any too grand statements about all-time legacies or how they age. This will obviously, we'll see in 5 years. We'll be able to look back and was it like a Daniel Bryan where it's like, cool, that's just a good workhorse upper mid-card having a moment versus legit main eventers, and then he's not really made for that area, like that scene of the card, and he gets injured and it wasn't meant to be. Was it just a great moment like that? Or was it legitimately like the moment where the star was made for 5 years and then he's been a catalyst of an era? Was this WrestleMania 14 with Stone Cold, or was this WrestleMania 30 with Daniel Bryan, or WrestleMania 20 with Benoit? Like, I think it's going to be more like Steve Austin and WrestleMania 14. That's how it felt. It felt like a legitimately big deal coronation of the top star. So we'll see, pal. I don't believe audiences are just going to turn. I don't think that's the fan base nowadays. I think that era's been and gone.
I think so.
I think that was a byproduct of a general disgruntlement with who was writing the show and how people were being portrayed. That there was no long-term plan. So it was just like, hey, what's next?
Yeah.
But now there's a bit more acceptance of that there's a long-term plan,
Absolutely.
which Roman and Paul Heyman and this Bloodline story has told the audience, like, yeah, be patient a bit more. I know it's TikTok day and age, but be a bit patient. So, yeah, pal, all good there. That's my sentiment. That's my review, my analyses, pal. One of the great main events, a great way to cap off an excellent Night 2 WrestleMania. Night 2 WrestleMania, there was hardly any flaws on that show. Night 1, not so much. Night 2, very well done. There's me. Where do you want to take this from here, pal?
I'm just going to pull up the rest of the card. Hold on. I just want to run through each match real quick. We could give like a quick analysis just for a moment, since that the show's came and gone already.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay, so yeah. Oh, just real quick on the McIntyre Rollins thing and Damian Priest. I have to say this. I don't care if Damian Priest is the worst world champion of all time. That is Puerto Rican blood holding a world heavyweight championship for the first time since Pedro Morales 50 years ago. I had a tear in my eye watching that. That was an incredible moment. Whatever, say what you will about Damian Priest. The story played out where he was waiting for the right time, like Ripley has said, and he wanted to do it on the big stage, and the character, he wanted to do it on the big stage, and it worked out perfectly. McIntyre and Punk are literally going to be printing money when Punk can wrestle. That is, you might as well go to the ATM and just start taking money out of the ATM and throwing it in the air. Just throw it in the air. Just throw it in Nick Khan's pockets. Throw it in Triple H's pockets. That's. They don't even need sponsorships for that match. I hope we don't get a crazy sponsorship for that. Like, there's enough money there. We don't need it, bro. I love the way that was done. McIntyre gets his big moment in front of fans, and looking back in hindsight, go back and watch McIntyre's celebration. It's like he knew, like, oh, this is only gonna last a minute before I lose it, bro. Like, he was milking it, and Rollins like, you fucking deserve it, bro. That was legit. I love the raw emotion. I loved everything about that. Everything about the way that played out. Punk removes the what, I don't even know what you call that, the stint. And he's like, I'm okay, bro. So I was beating up McIntyre, and right after he was hugging his wife and his kid, jeez, like, that was wow. And then Damian Priest comes out, like, hey, Rollins had a broken back for like 6 months, and Damian Priest is like, do I cash in? But like I said, he was waiting for his moment. It happened at WrestleMania. That was bad. Seeing Damian Priest win the title, I have no words. It was unbelievable. I didn't think it was gonna happen, and I was so overcome with emotion. I had a tear in my eye, for real, man. It was crazy.
That's great. And also on Priest, and right away, he physically can't be the worst world champion. I mean, you touch on, even if he's a bad world champion, still not. Alberto Del Rio held the world heavyweight title. Jack Swagger, like, it's a who's who of bad. Big Show was champion. Like, Sheamus held that thing for ages. There's no way. Like, at worst, I think Priest's run will be solid. I think it'll be a fine run. He'll have a good match or two. I think it'll be a good little run. I don't think it's possible to be, like, terrible at the moment with, like, how the show is being written and how many talents are over. I don't think it's possible for it to be bad. So let's just talk about the moment.
Are you ready to see Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest at SummerSlam?
Not complaining. I like that direction. That sounds interesting. Don't mind that. But as far as the WrestleMania thing goes, this match opens the show. They come out just after Stephanie McMahon's come out to say that I'm so proud of my husbands, the Paul Levesque era, rah, rah, WrestleMania, woohoo, go WWE. So Stephanie comes out. She's, I guess, just back now. She was featured at the Hall of Fame quite heavily. She was here as well. So that's cool to see. Fair enough. Then you get this match. It's a finisher fest with Rollins and McIntyre. It was like, 12, 14 minutes. It was just finisher spam, high-octane offense. Good. We complained the night before with the 46-minute night one main event.
Yeah, this was
Why
great.
are you going for, like, The Rock hates Cody. Cody hates The Rock. All these guys hate each other, and they're doing a 5-minute stare down, not touching each other. What is going on? The bell went, and they were just jumping on each other, attacking each other, beating each other up. All you could ask for, and as you touch on, what a way to finish this match. McIntyre has his moment. It lasts like a minute and a half. Then Punk is just sitting there at the commentary table like, yep, okay. McIntyre's like, ha, you deserve this, bitch. Ha, 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 ha. I enjoy rubbing in your face more than I did winning the title. Ha. And Punk's like, okay, cast off. Ah. And then McIntyre gets thrown in the ring, and Priest just cashes in and wins. It was great. It was so well done. It was brilliant. What about opening WrestleMania as well? That was A-class booking. That's so good.
That's
money. That was so good.
The Philadelphia street fight was fun. Seeing Bubba Ray Dudley as the referee. LA Knight versus AJ Styles, standard match. LA Knight got a big win. Hopefully he faces Logan Paul at SummerSlam. I do want to spend a minute on the triple threat match. I had a friend over for most of this show, and he was like super invested in this match. He was like, oh my god, Speed is here. What is Speed doing here? And he's like, Randy Orton, I love Randy Orton. Logan Paul, I hate that guy. And then Kevin Owens, he's like, who is that? I'm like, he's a wrestler, But that's like, if it had just been one-on-one Logan versus Randy Orton, I mean, again, throw money in the air, pal. Throw them in Nick Khan's pockets if you just have
Yeah.
Logan versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
But whatever, it was still fun. It was really good. My casual friend who hardly ever watches wrestling, never thinks about it, was super invested in that match. It was fun.
Yeah. And what they did with speed and that involvement,
It was great.
amazing. That's the sort of stuff which we talked about a year ago, 2 years ago. Have people like that, even if it's cameo appearances like Speed did. He does his bit. He's barking at Randy Orton, yelling at him. Randy's like WTF and kicks him in the nuts, and Speed like collapses like he's been shot. Then he gets him on the announce table. Randy Orton's barking at Speed and RKO's him through the table. Like that is a perfect use of a big time like celebrity, influencer person. It was so well done. So stuff like that. We didn't need a Speed match. We didn't need a 15-minute mixed tag match with I Show Speed. But we got enough of a Speed appearance to where that made the rounds. That thing of Randy Orton with his eyes bulging out of his head, barking at Speed, RKOing him through a table. That's brilliant. That's all you need to do. And then the match was really good. It was a really fun triple threat match. So it just ticks all across the board. Night 2 to me was just tick, 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 tick.
Yes.
I'll even mention like that Philadelphia street fight. No expectations going in. I was sitting there going, okay, how are they going to make this good? Snoop Dogg was on commentary. Bubba Ray Dudley was the referee. And the match was like 7.5 minutes. And it was just straight to the point. Some physical spots, some weapons. Bubba does the stuff with, the Dudley gimmick, and they have him with the glasses. And he's like, ah. And they were having the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley just beating up, Cross. That was well done. And I'm like, this is just a well-booked night of WrestleMania, pal. This is Paul Levesque in his bag at the stove, gourmet meal. He's chopping some carrots. He's got the shallots, pal. He's pouring them into the WrestleMania feast.
Love it. Love it, pal. We love it. And then Bayley and Io Sky. Good match. Really fun. I'm glad Bayley won. I'm glad. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I thought I was like, oh, Io Sky is gonna win. They gotta save Damage Control. Bayley got a big moment. It was great. Now she's gonna just skyrocket that women's division, huh? On SmackDown, I hope.
Hope so. Yeah, no, that was good as well. That was a good match. That was just a good. That's what we said it would be. It would be a good 4-star match. Bayley wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good. Pal, is it time? Can I dunk on AEW now? I've been waiting 40 minutes, pal.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the other stuff later. The Heyman speech.
So, pal, let me just ask for our listeners, what's prompted this? What could AEW have done this time to justify you wanting to dunk on them? What have they done?
Yeah, so it's 12:35 midnight Eastern time. Collision is just halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
And the announcement comes. I don't know who gave the announcement. Was it Tony Khan? Not Tony Khan. Tony Schiavone? I don't remember. Somebody on AEW announces, hey, this Wednesday on Dynamite, the Young Bucks are going to reveal the footage from All In at Wembley Stadium. And everybody was like, what? Like, they're going to reveal the footage from All In? Okay. So I know you had said, oh, that's just going to be Nick Jackson dressed up as CM Punk and Matt Jackson dressed up as Jack Perry. I wish that is what we got. I wish that would have been better than what we got. So I'm going to paint the picture for everyone. There's speculation going, like, people are talking about this. That's what AEW wanted. Tony Khan wanted to be talked about. He knows nobody's watching Collision at 12:30, so let's give him something to talk about. People are talking about it. They're talking about it for the wrong reasons. People are like, why are you bringing up that footage? Doesn't matter. CM Punk's in WWE. Jack Perry's in New Japan. His career's dead. Like, move on. Focus on your current stars. New stars. Focus on Mercedes Moné, who you just paid $9 million to. Focus on Will Ospreay. Focus on somebody else. Yeah. CM Punk is no longer there. Like, people are making fun of the company. Then people are like, all right, whatever. Let's see what happens. So Wednesday night comes around.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the big segment. Right? I get this notification from Bleach Report. Oh, watch the full segment. The Young Bucks reveal the All In footage. So I watched the full segment. I'm not tuning into Dynamite Live to watch this. I watched the full segment. It starts with Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson. They're sitting in the backstage arena. And the reports came out that they didn't want to do this. So this was Tony Khan's idea. You can... You can see it written in big red ink all over their face that they did not want to do this. You could tell. They give some dialogue that made no sense. It was like a 2.5 minute long dialogue. I didn't understand anything they said.
Yeah.
It didn't set up anything.
Right.
It didn't really serve a purpose. Okay, then they're like, all right, let's roll the footage from All In. Then we proceed to get CCTV footage of the actual backstage altercation between CM Punk and Jack Perry from All In 2023 at Wembley Stadium. We get like a minute long clip of the actual footage of I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm watching this and I'm like, there's no way. Like, they're putting one of WWE's biggest stars on their show, promoting WWE for one. And like, the goal here is to make CM Punk more hated, to prove Tony Khan right that he was fearing for his life. I don't know what the goal is here. To make Jack Perry a babyface? I don't know. So what we get here is a Jack Perry standing in gorilla position. We've got Tony Khan sitting right next to Jack Perry, looking at a monitor. We've got a couple other agents looking at a monitor. Jack Perry is standing there. In comes Phil Brooks into the screen. And I got to preface this. There was an interview from CM Punk where he gave his story. And there was the reports that came out after the incident where Tony Khan gave his story. Tony Khan said that CM Punk lunged at him and monitors fell on him. Right? And it was reported that CM Punk punched Jack Perry. And Tony Khan feared for his life. CM Punk goes on the Ariel Helwani show and literally walks you through exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He's like, I walked up to him. I said, what the fuck is your problem? We talked for a minute. I said, if you don't get out of my face, I'm gonna choke you. So Punk pushes Jack Perry, puts him in a headlock. It lasts 10 seconds. Samoa Joe's there. All these other wrestlers pull apart. Punk looks at Tony Khan's in his direction, as he said in the interview, said, I quit. I fucking quit. I'm out of here. A monitor like moves around a little bit. And that's it. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to make us, the viewer, think that Tony Khan was actually afraid for his life in this moment. So I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going with this monologue.
Go off.
I love
yes. Just go.
I'm just gonna keep going. This is, I mean, I don't think I've seen a more embarrassing moment in my years of watching pro wrestling. In all my years, I don't think I've seen a more embarrassing moment. This might be the most embarrassing moment of all time. This might be more embarrassing than Bash at the Beach 2000. Might be more embarrassing than the Shockmasters debut. It might be more embarrassing than the Katie Vick segment. It might be more embarrassing than just about any segment, like Snitsky kicking the baby, Lita's pregnancy angle with Kane. Like it's more embarrassing than anything I've ever seen. Like the Young Bucks, they're shoe-ins for Clown of the Year, back-to-back Elite Heat Clown of the Year champions, pal. We're gonna name that award after the Young Bucks. I said that already. This, just them being a part of it. Who cares if it was their idea or not? Just them being a part of it instantly makes them clowns. This is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in wrestling. AEW, when they started in 2019, you had Jericho versus Hangman Page main eventing the very first show. You had Bret Hart out there presenting the AEW title. You got Cody versus Dusty in a Masterpiece 5-star match. You had the Young Bucks and Penta and Phoenix having a hell of a tag team match. You had all this great action. It was new, fresh. It was a revolution. It was an alternative. It was good wrestling. I don't know what AEW has become now. AEW has become WCW 2000, but worse. Just worse. Like, we thought, okay, AEW had a bad end to 2023, right? MJF gets burnt out. Adam Cole got injured. You know, CM Punk gets fired. A lot of bad things happening. Then we get Revolution 2024. Great show. You know, we're thinking, okay, Swerve, he's going to be the big star of AEW. MJF's going to come back. MJF versus Swerve. Printing money, throwing money in Tony Khan's pockets, pal. Instead, the show has gone even further off the rails than one could have possibly ever even imagined. the downfall of AEW, I think is actually here now. Like I think we were saying like, we'll believe it when we see it. I don't know. Like I get it. Tony Khan has all this money. Tony Khan can afford to lose $70 million or whatever it was in the video game, 40 million, however much they lost. He can afford to pay Mercedes Moné however much money she's getting paid, and he can afford to rent big arenas like 10,000 seat basketball arenas, and only 2,000 people are there.
Mhm.
What happens when those 2,000 people stop showing up? What happens at that point when they can't even sell 1,000 seats? Like, who watched that footage and thought, I want to go buy a ticket for an AEW show? I have to go see the Young Bucks match against FTR now after seeing that footage. You know, who thought, oh my God, Tony Khan is, wow, I feel so bad for the guy. Wow. Man, he really got threatened by CM Punk. One, literally what that clip did was prove CM Punk absolutely right. People on Twitter were taking that video and they were putting Punk's clip of Punk's audio of him talking about it on the Ariel Helwani show, walking you through what happened, and they literally put that narration over the clip, and it's literally word for word what he said. It made him look like a truth teller. You know, it gives him instant credibility for every interview he's ever done, the Cole Cabana podcast included.
Mm-hmm.
Gives him instant credibility for that. It gives him instant credibility for the All Out 2022 press conference.
Mm-hmm.
They make him look like a badass. Like, he beat up Jack Perry. Like I said, beat up a punked out, son of a famous celebrity.
Yep.
Fucking punk kid. Beat him up, then walked out and opened the show with a smile. I mean, bro. I don't think it's not looking good for AEW from here. It's not. It's really not. They were being talked about after that segment aired. But they were being talked about for all the wrong reasons. I'm almost done here. They were being talked about for all the wrong reasons. People were making fun of them. So bad.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna step back now, pal. I talked for a while. You go.
Look, you covered that. You covered that very well, and I echo a lot of what you've just said. I'm sitting there, and the whole time I'm watching this, I view it from the same lens I view anything. Why are we doing this? What's the big picture of this? Because this happened 8 months ago. Does CM Punk, who's I guess the perpetrator pal in this whole thing, he's like one of the big stars in WWE right now. He's like, and they're actively, consciously trying to show this. Clearly, Tony Khan's idea. Because yeah, the Young Bucks, it was awkward what they were saying in that little 2-minute dialogue. This little scuffle distracted us from our warm up, so that's why we lost our match against FTR because our stretching routine was compromised. We were distracted, and it threw us off. I'm like, okay, like if that's what Tony Khan told you to say to justify showing this segment, I guess. Sure. So then we watch what you perfectly describe. Most of you have seen it by now. Kevin beautifully described what happened, just bluntly analyze and play by play what we got. So I watched that, like the rest of most of you listening, and I'm just like, what the F am I watching? Why? And like it goes back to the whole point. AEW can do things well. They can have good matches with some good wrestlers. Bryan Danielson can have a good match against Ospreay, pal. Ospreay can have a good match against Omega. They can have some good bell-to-bell stuff. But when behind the scenes, as Punk bluntly said in his interview with Ariel Helwani, when there's no real leadership in the company, when your leaders, your loudest voices are Tony Khan, some 42-year-old like rich kid who's just a big wrestling fan, and then the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, who are going to have the Clown of the Year award named after them in the Elite Heat Awards, and then Chris Jericho in his mid-50s. Those are like your lead voices. Now that Cody's been gone for 3 years and Kenny Omega's like out of the picture basically because of his health and all this other business. So what do you expect from a company perspective? How is this ever going to be ran well? And now you get stuff like this. We're sitting here, AEW's biggest talking point, biggest story of 2024, their biggest moment is this. WWE over the weekend had one of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. This beautifully put together story, 4 years in the making, thought out, big stars involved, coronating a new star. They made millions and millions, the biggest gate of any WrestleMania, the most successful WrestleMania per all these records. WWE did that. 3 days later, we're sitting here watching grainy CCTV footage of CM Punk, Phil Brooks doing exactly what he said in interviews, and he's told us for months. He looked at Jack Perry. He said, "What the F are you doing? Get out of my face or I'll hit you. I'll choke you out." And he did just that. And then he moved over to Tony Khan. Amonda fell over, and Punk was like, "I quit." All this business. Tony, I'd say this. Obviously, I asked why. We sort of know why. This was a panic knee-jerk reaction because of the Punk interview with Hawani. Tony Khan's like, "No, I'm going to show the footage." And it turned into this disaster. There needs to be an overhaul in the leadership of this company. Before AEW is too far gone, salvage what's good that's left. You've got Ospreay. You've got the CEO, pal, Sasha Banks. You've got some stuff left. But between this and Adam Copeland cutting rah-rah, we're the revolution promos every week on TV, the state of this company is genuinely saddening to me. 5 years ago, when Cody was heavily involved in writing the show, when there was still so much promise with the show, it was like, this could be anything. This could be bigger and better than WWE. But now it's just some relic of mid-2010s TNA, 2000 WCW. It's just sad. It's disappointing. Tony Khan, can universally, pal, this is one more thing I'll say before you go. Universally across the wrestling fandom, the wrestling space, AEW fans, WWE diehards, casual fans, people who barely watch but are on Twitter, all this other business, everyone unanimously is like, why are they showing that? Just look, why? What does that do? There weren't even AEW fans like, yeah, show the footage. F you, WWE. No one even was saying that. It was a bit just like, what are they doing? And when Brian said in our live chat that, they're going to show the footage on Wednesday at Dynamite, and I said, well, that's obviously going to be Matt and Nick Jackson doing some cringy spoof to fit their character as like the EVPs. That would have made sense, but no. Instead, show 8-month-old CCTV footage that I guess you can now legally show, I guess. I don't even know. Kevin, anything more from you? I was just so like, I was shocked they actually did it because how low they can go. This is how low can Tony Khan go, gone further down. I couldn't believe it. Kevin,
yeah, I mean, I was going to touch on the legality. They legally cannot show this. CCTV footage is illegal to show. Allegedly in the UK, there's some, I don't know if that's like the exact phrasing of the law or how, but there's something where like in the UK they can't show that. So yeah, I'm pretty much done with that. We dunked on AEW enough, pal. Yeah, let's talk about Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech.
Wow,
really incredible, truly captivating. That man is just an excellent speaker. He's one of those people that commands the room. And he says things so well and articulates things just so like to the point and really gets you. He really draws you in. I remember watching like a segment or like a documentary or something. I don't remember what it was. And Paul Heyman was praising AJ Styles like in the back, and I was like, bro, like that, it was crazy. It was like 2 minutes of him just like, AJ Styles, you're the best in-ring performer of this generation. And I was like, man, that's. Then we saw that's sort of Paul Heyman in real real time for like 40 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Everything he covered from the ECW stuff, where he was like, the famous line, "You can suck my effing," if you think ECW died in a bankruptcy court in Philadelphia. I mean, the guy is truly. I want to say this: he's probably one of the most underappreciated people in wrestling history.
Yeah.
Gets a bad rep for some of the ECW stuff. But man, he's been an on-screen character for what? Like 12 years since Brock Lesnar came back in 2012. Since he was the Advocate, and then he did some stuff with Punk and Cesaro for like a cup of coffee, and then with Roman, I mean, he's reinvented himself with Roman Reigns. And man, it was nice to see the guy get his flowers. It was really an amazing speech.
As far as the Hall of Fame goes, I haven't seen a better speech done. And people will, like the Undertaker's induction was brilliant. That was like the other one people bring up. That was so well done.
Yes.
There have been some good ones over the years, and obviously the Hall of Fame. Generally, each year you get one that's like, oh, that's stuck out to some degree. This one, I was watching it, and from the moment Heyman came out, I was just like, this covered everything. This is the perfect balance of like, it wasn't just all emotional, like, sensitive, I'm in my feelings sort of stuff. There was a bit of that. There was, mentioning the family. There was very directly addressing his children. And that was beautifully done. CM Punk was actively there. He's mentioning Punk, the stuff about Triple H and the leadership and how like the environment's so much better now and he loves coming to work. That was beautifully done. The stuff about ECW that you touch on, I'm not going to repeat what you just said. That was so well done. The stuff about the future, he just loves coming to work, working with Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes, all these talents. It was an ode to the past, the present, and the future. And it was, I mean, probably the most captivated I've been for a speech I can probably recall. This isn't just Hall of Fame. This is TED Talks. This is watching people talk generally. It was incredible. And the way he did it, it was just him just talking. It wasn't even like he wrote a speech or he just came out and said, I haven't written anything for this. I'm just going to go off the vibes and see what gets chanted, whatever. I'm just going to go with the flow. And he proceeds to do like the best Hall of Fame speech ever. And it was unbelievable. And I felt bad for everyone who had to follow, like Bull Nakano and all those other acts, those other legends in their own right, who had to follow that. Because I'm like, you can't follow that.
No.
I'm so glad they opened. Like the crowd was so into everything he was saying, hanging on every word. It was 40 minutes. It felt emotional watching it, like during it, because of how they did the speech. There were like ebbs and flows towards the start. I was like, this is emotional. And then they had some like rah-rah, like tribute stuff. And like, here's my background. And then he gets the ECW stuff out. And he's talking to his children. That was so emotional. And then he gave an ode to the future. I was speechless for about 30 minutes. I was like, I just watched that, like that, in my view, at least. I mean, got to witness greatness from an orator point of view. Like that is a speaker. That's someone who so clearly understands their place in space and time, what their role is, what they can offer, how to engage with humans, how to talk to people, how to get a message across, how to convey emotion, dial it back, tone it up, dial it back, take it on an emotional journey. It was incredible. So, I mean, huge hats off to Paul Heyman. Like that was, yeah, and I agree with you. People can say he's the greatest manager of all time. That sort of just gets said. Like, I don't know about you, pal, but you say, oh, yeah, Heyman's the greatest manager of all time, whatever. But not enough weight's put into just how great he is. I think that Hall of Fame speech, and hopefully his run with Roman now and everything he's done can really help get some more eyeballs and some more spotlight on that, because he's 60 years old. Like he's not young. As he said in his Hall of Fame speech, I only just started. This isn't a career honor award where I'm going to ride off in the sunset. I got more to give, and that's awesome. That's so good for the company. He's got more to go, and he's got way more juice to spend, and that's awesome. Because after hearing his speech, I'm like, you need him as involved as possible in the WWE for as long as you can. Like, get as much juice out of the Heyman orange as you can, because he's a one of one. There aren't Paul Heymans that grow on trees. Like, there are great athletic talents. There are great wrestling minds. But there's only one Paul Heyman. So, yeah, incredible speech.
Absolutely. All right, pal. I'm ready to get out of here. I don't know about you, but
we've gone in. Look, we'll address the Cody Rock segment maybe another time.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on that real quick before we go? Just that awkward segment on the Raw after Mania where Rock holds Cody's title, which I guess was because Rock felt robbed and he wanted to have a moment with the title, but he couldn't actually win the title or whatever. And then they do the thing where Rock's like, here's let's do a handshake like this, and they're holding like this like a minute. And I'm like, what's going on? What's happening here? And then he's given him something clearly, and then they just keep doing this, and then the 20-minute segment ended. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, the seeds are planted for some magical long-term storytelling, whatever that may be.
Yep.
I don't know. When Rock was like, hey, can I hold your belt? I was like, okay. And then the crowd was chanting, this is awkward. I don't really know. I mean, it'll all make sense. It's bloodline stuff. It'll all make sense in a year, 2 years, 7 years down the line.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was watching that and I was like, whatever. Like, I mean, it was fun. It was, at the end of the day, it's still a fun segment. Rock and Cody are out there. Two biggest stars in the company, Maggle.
It's probably going to make a lot more sense in like 3 years' time when Superkick Studios makes his Magic of the Bloodline 7-year documentary that's 2.5 hours long. and you can really pinpoint this moment as the moment Rock gave Cody some perfume for Mama Rhodes, and that set up their storyline, I guess. But yeah, it felt a bit awkward at the time. The segment was still fun. It's Cody and The Rock in the ring. Cody's got the title. The Rock's got the People's Champion belt. They did the swap, and they didn't swap.
Oh,
and
then... can I address the People's Championship belt just for a moment?
Yeah.
That was so... The Rock... Bro, The Rock really used Muhammad Ali's induction to give himself a championship. Like, come on. Come on. And then... I mean, he's walking down to the ring in WrestleMania holding a championship that was made for himself. Like, what? Like, the ego's crazy. I don't know if that was done for like aesthetic purposes, where it's like, oh, that's The Rock with a championship. Like, here, casuals, look at this. Like, I just wanted to address that. Go ahead.
Can you imagine if Hulk Hogan or Chris Jericho did that?
Pal,
they would be getting.
Sorry. Breaking news, pal. Breaking news. Live on SmackDown right now. There's a new Bloodline member, Tamatonga. Why wasn't he there at WrestleMania? Is Roman gonna beat him up now? Like, why weren't you here, bitch? Why weren't you there to help me win my title? Like, where was he when when Roman needed to get a poke in the eye, pal? When Cody needed to get a poke in the eye. Sorry, when Cody needed to get a poke in the eye.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Plenty more to come, and see where we go. But yeah, what a week! So much. Wow.
What a great show, pal. Shout out to The Rock for giving himself a championship at the Hall of Fame. Bro, I'm gonna close on this. You don't have to say anything. The Rock is a bigger political chess player than Hulk Hogan. It's not even close at this point, bro. It's not even close. Like, okay, the one time Cena played political chess was SummerSlam 2011 or 2010, right? When he wanted to beat the Nexus. Good on him. Shout out to him. Hulk Hogan played political chess a few times. To not have Bret Hart win the championship from him at SummerSlam 93. That ended up working out great because we got the WrestleMania 10 moment. Then you've got Hulk Hogan again playing political chess at Starrcade. Okay, pretty bad. Starrcade, people are like, Sting, why didn't Sting just win the title definitively? And Hogan's like, it didn't work for me, brother. Okay, whatever. Sting still won the title. Whatever. WCW, Bash at the Beach 2000. Cover this on my channel. Hulk Hogan doesn't want to lose to Booker T and Jeff Jarrett. Understandable. He's Hulk Hogan. Why would he want to lose to Jeff Jarrett? Why would Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, your favorite wrestler, the biggest star of all time, want to lose to Jeff Jarrett? Then SummerSlam 05. Okay. It was pretty bad, but we got one of the funniest, most iconic moments of wrestling history with Shawn Michaels overselling.
Yeah.
With The Rock playing political chess, we got him giving himself a belt while Muhammad Ali's widow is crying in Muhammad Ali's Hall of Fame induction speech. And then he's walking out with the belt at WrestleMania during his entrance just to say, I got a belt, bro. Like... Alright, we'll talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.